Is for bug?
Okay.
Oh yeah, bug.
Hang,
My bad here.
hang on, I got an ad.
That's fine. Nothing's happening. I'll pause when it starts.
Okay, my recording's going now. TV in the background.
Not even loud. Didn't even mention it. I'm gonna have my Twitch blocked for fucking whatever it's called.
VOD mute. No, that's only with music, man. I can't detect
Yeah.
parts of TV episodes. That'd be ridiculous.
That would
They'd have to have like bots that could recognize thousands of hours of Game of Thrones.
Oh my god, how long is this ad?
Is it the 3-minute one? I'm sorry.
Pause the VOD.
Yeah, I'll skip that. I'm good.
Okay. Alright, so you're gonna be like 15 seconds behind, I think. So we'll see. Where's my epic pen? There it is. Okay. So first off, okay, in higher elo games, this doesn't exactly apply to you, but it's just sometimes a good idea. If you're the jungler, you usually want to go this way, and then drop your ward right here before
Yeah.
you go to your red. Like even if you want to start red, it's just a good idea to have extra vision. If you drop your ward as soon as it spawns, by the time you get to your second buff, you're able to drop another one. So it doesn't even matter. Just throwing it out there early game is just a good idea. Generally, if you want to stand around like this, you want to be near an entrance. So you have the extra vision, just in case they want to try something cheesy. Like Pantheon, he could just walk up and stun you guys. They get a
Okay, yeah.
It's not that big a deal, but it is kind of a big deal. Like, just a good thing to have in mind. Okay, so first thought right here. Starting red buff
draw
right
out
now.
starting like the entrances where everyone should stand.
Okay, here. Let's pause it right here real quick. Okay, so in general, the AD carry should stand right here.
I know he's.
Support.
That kind of pissed me off. He said that he had to get CS.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's dumb. I mean, he doesn't really need to give you a leash. It's nice because you're there, but
Yeah.
Anyway, so AD carry here in the tri-brush. Support should be standing around here. She should drop her ward like right there. You can even ask the support to ward there just in case if they don't. The mid laner should generally stand out in mid lane before creep spawn. You should walk this way as jungler and get your ward here. And then top lane should be somewhere around here, just so they have vision. Yeah, I mean, it's different depending on which side of the map. If your top laner is on purple, you could be right here. Okay, so the main thing that I wanted to point out right here, in the new jungle, like I don't expect you to know it by now, like it's brand new to me too, but the general path for junglers is to start at a small camp first and smite that to get the buff, and then go to your buff camp, your regular buff camp. So if you wanted to start bot here, you would ask for a leash at your golems, start at the golems, and then you get the buff. You smite it right away, so you get it right away, the buff. After the leash, you go to your red. You do the red. And then you move to your wolves if you want to do that, like if you feel you have enough HP.
Okay.
And then after wolves, you have a choice of, depending on how much HP you have, you can smite the Gromp and get the buff, or you can just do the blue buff and then smite it, go back, get your item. What you ended up doing was actually really good compared to like my thoughts. Like, oh man, like you know, you don't know the jungle, it's new, it's like gonna destroy you. You played it really well the way you did. Started red, and for the rest of your route, you did it correctly. So you went to the wolves, you skipped the razors, you know that they do a lot of damage, that's really good. And then you did blue, and that's perfect. There's a couple things that I wanted to point out as we go into it though. So those are minor though. But basically just remember to start at the small camp first for the buff.
Okay.
Because that gives you level 2 as well. Like you don't stay level 1. If you clear the small camp, it gives you level 2 right off the bat, and you can do your buff with your level 2. Okay,
Okay.
so you're clearing them here. Nothing special. Morgana's getting till in. You make the amazing choice to skip the Razor Beaks because those things destroy you.
And I kind of messed up on a gank too, which I don't know. I like when I was going out for the gank on Pantheon. I kind of I would have expected him to kind
To
of
walk
like
back, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. That was fine though. If you're using prediction there and that's why you missed, that's fine. But in general, like, I don't know. You kind of have to gauge what they're doing and how they're reacting. Like, he had no idea you were there. He was totally unaware. So maybe just keep that in mind if they are unaware to know in the back of your mind that they're not going to react to it. See, another reason that I mentioned starting at the small buffs here. So you use your smite on the blue buff. When you smite the blue buff, you get mana back, and you had full mana at that point. So to optimize your route, you could have started at the toad, and then done your blue without smite, and then do your wolves, and then when you go to red, then you have smite back up, and red gives you HP on smite, on top of the regular HP you get from clearing a camp. So you would have enough HP to go and gank Vagar maybe, if you really wanted to. Because he was just unaware the entire game. Like, he played really badly. I mean, you don't know that right now during the game. But it's fine what you're doing right now. You're just clearing your camps. That's okay. So that really sucks that bottom dies. But then Katarina gets a kill to offset that. You choose to go back here. That's perfect. Usually, what you need to be doing at this point, like, you need to gauge your lanes. So in mid lane, you don't exactly have the CC to allow Katarina to get all of her damage off unless you're able to get the jump on Vagar. So that's a no gank lane. You don't really want to do that.
Okay.
Top lane, it's possible if Pantheon is pushed up and Mundo is able to slow. And then bot lane, you have to rely on Morgana Snare. So basically the only lane that you can gank reliably is top lane if he's pushed up. So you have to look for opportunities. You have to be opportunistic when you're jungling. Like, bot lane, they already died. You know Morgana's not very good. She's not gonna land her Q reliably, so you do really well in ignoring bot lane for now. Like, they're your weak lane. You don't really need to pay attention to them right
Yeah.
now. Another thing right now, I'm sorry, it's not right now. It's the next time you're back, I'll mention it. Yeah, you're just clearing. Power farming is fine. That's good. Especially when you can get away with it. Because the Moom is like AFK right now. I don't know what he's doing. He's just power farming as well, but he needs to be kind of applying pressure because there's so many lanes that he can gank right now. Bottom and mid. He's going to gank middle right now. I don't think he gets anything out of it. Okay, so this is a big no-no right here. Going for crab when it's not totally necessary is not good. Like, again, that's a new thing to the jungle. I don't expect, any general jungle knowledge, whatever. I'll explain in a second. So you go for the gank. He was totally unaware. That's why you missed. That's no big deal. All it results in is wasted time. Which, if that adds up, could be a big deal. Okay, so this is okay, I guess. You can go check. but you kind of have to. Okay, this is where you get the gank off, I think. Yeah, this is really good. So you kind of hesitated there to go dive, which is sort of a problem. You might want to like. Basically, when you commit to a gank, you want to have balls of steel. Like you can't really.
Yeah, I know.
The hesitation could have costed Mundo's life, but I also think it's a mistake on his part because he could have just swapped aggro with you at the same time. But that's the thing to keep in mind. Like, had you not hesitated, it could have let Mundo live, and he would be even further ahead in his lane instead of 0-1-1 and just an assist. Let's see. Power farming's fine. Your red buff just spawned. I think you go get that and then you back. I'm not 100%. Moo is also at his blue. He also made the mistake of starting blue buff first instead of small camp and then blue. It's not that big a deal. It's just the small things that give you the efficiency that allows you to play better than other players. Again, bot lane is just being bad. Ignore them.
Yeah.
You have your 6, so you could maybe make a play down there. But Morgana's already dead, so it's not that big a deal. And Kog'Maw's not getting dove, so it's really not a big deal. This is a really good gank. That's nice timing. Normally, there should be a ward there somewhere, but Veigar is just playing really badly. He's tilting on top of like probably not even knowing how to play Veigar. Going to blue buff. It's good.
I knew it was a cat, so I wasn't gonna like. Yeah, I don't think I'd give her like blue buff right away.
Yeah,
Maybe
okay.
later.
That's a point later on that I was gonna make. When you have the blue buff and you end up giving her the blue buff, you have to gauge whether or not your mid lane really needs it. Like Katarina, she doesn't exactly need the cooldown reduction. She's like, you have to go case by case, really. So there's a few exceptions that don't have mana and still need blue buff. Say like Zed. Zed with a blue buff is really scary, just because his cooldown reduction allows him to poke harder and it allows him to get his skills off even quicker. But for Katarina, she's a bursty champion where she goes in and bursts, and then if she gets a kill, she gets free cooldown resets anyway. So it's not
Yeah.
that big a deal that she has cooldown reduction or not. I mean, granted, you already had the blue buff, but you could have refreshed it. That's not a huge thing. Just keep that in mind when you're handing off blue. Especially if your mid laner is doing really poorly, you usually want to take your blue buff unless it would really, really help them out.
Okay.
Yeah, bottom lane is totally not reacting to anything here. I think they take like 5 seconds to even start coming. Yeah. That was good. Another kill in middle into a dragon. It's perfect.
Okay, I'll be right back again.
Okay, see, if you really wanted to do crab, right, it's before you do an objective, or as you have your team there, it's as you're leaving for the free vision. So say like you're watching the dragon spawn timer, right? And it's spawning in, we'll say, 1 minute and 30 seconds. The crab lasts for 130 seconds, I believe. So as the dragon's spawning, maybe you want to go kill it, then back, buy your items, and then head over to dragon with your team, and you have the free vision just in case you really need it. And you have the speed shrine outside of it. Same thing for Baron, but that one's more subjective because Baron spawns at 20 minutes. So you could kill that if you're already like, say like you cleared your entire jungle, like you went through and there's nothing left for you to farm, and there's no lanes to gank, and you just want to give your top laner and mid laner some vision, you can kill the crab. But in general, it's not a good idea because you're out in the river, especially if you don't have wards. You can get caught out really easily while you're doing it.
Okay.
There's another good gank here. You're just playing off of Vagar's weakness. He's totally unaware. That's really good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was doing.
Okay, so here's where I wanted to mention. You back, you buy 2 green wards and a pink ward. You also got your red trinket, and that was beautiful, by the way. That's really, really good. Buying red trinket on your first real back when you need it. Big point I wanted to make though. So when you buy a pink ward, you want to drop it before you come into enemy vision. Like generally, this is pretty good. You get the Pantheon kill here. So for the pink ward, when you buy one and then you walk over to your jungle, the first thing you should want to do is drop the pink ward as soon as you can. So maybe you want to do a camp first, just so you know, be efficient. Say you walk this way and then you kill your razor beaks, whatever. Drop the pink ward like right afterwards, because if they don't know you had you made a good decision not doing the crab there. Say like you buy the pink ward, you go back to your jungle, they don't know what's in your inventory yet, so they're not looking for a pink. You know what I mean? Like if they see the pink ward in your inventory, their jungler might have a bit of brain and be like, hey, I should watch out for a pink ward somewhere in the river area or my jungle. Like that just makes sense. Right there, when you scan that, by the way, that's another point I wanted to make. You're not exactly counter jungling the Mumu, right? So, in your head, when you scan things, you either go for a spot you know is warded, or you go for a really common play spot. Like, so like this, for example, that's kind of common. You could also go for this. That's common ward. But when you scan way over here, when you're not even like attempting to take a Muma's camps, there's 100% no way that there's going to be a ward there, unless he's like way too scared or something, and that's not the case here. So yeah, either save scanner for a spot you would like educate the guess of where the ward would be. Otherwise, the scanner's kind of wasted, and it would just be better to have a yellow trinket. But if you use the scanner to a good effect, then it's much, much better.
If you wait for someone to ward to use your scanner, then it's 100% hit. If you watch someone ward, that's the perfect time to save your scanner for.
Especially if you're watching the lanes too. As you're jungling, you should be swapping back and forth and watching your lanes and how they're going. Just to get a general idea of like, you know, if someone's getting ganked, if they're about to get dove, if they're gonna die, if they're playing overly aggressive and you can punish them for it, something like that. You can also watch to see when they go to ward and where they do it. Like if top lane disappears for like half a second into the river, like that's an obvious ward. Hey, I'm gonna go head over there and clear the ward if I can. That way your scanner is put to 100% use.
A good way to look at all your lanes is to use the F keys. 2, 3, 4, and 5 will go to your teammates if your camera's unlocked. It'll do it if it's locked too, but it'll shoot you back right after you let go of it. I'm assuming your camera's unlocked.
Yeah, it should be. If not, then that's a whole other problem. But we'll talk about that at a different time. So yeah, you have 2 options. You either use the F keys or you click around the minimap. F keys are more efficient. I use the minimap personally just because I don't feel comfortable using the F keys. It's not that big a deal. It's just kind of quicker if you can get used to it. Let's see here. Yeah, you go in for a nice gank here. The Q was missed again, but that's just you have to remember that they're not paying attention to you and they're totally unaware right now. Like they didn't have a ward, they didn't react to you, meaning they're not gonna know that you're there. Generally, a good player would have saw you behind them and reacted, but just keep it in your mind that these players are not very good. Like, you're just absolutely shitting on them right now. But the point is, you could have been shitting on them even harder. So, yeah, it's like the little things that add up. Let's see here. Okay. Let's talk about items here while we have the chance and nothing's happening. Okay, so building damage is totally fine on Vi. It's definitely really strong now that they gave her the warrior enchant, and then she can buy another brutalizer on top of it, or even like Trinity Force when you're really, really far ahead, like you do here. But the boot choice is what I was going to mention. So when you buy your boots, you kind of have to gauge what they have on their team. So let's look here. Ninja Tabby, you buy them for the passive. You don't really buy it for the armor unless, they don't have CC or auto attacks. Same thing with Merc Dread. You don't really buy it for the magic resist. You buy it for the tenacity. So when you're gauging what they actually have, you have to look at their team. Vhagar, he has a stun on his E. Amumu, he's got a stun on his Q and his ult. Blitzcrank has a silence. And then Draven has auto attacks. Pantheon is bursty. He doesn't even auto attack. So basically, your Ninja Tabbies are just for the Draven, right? Which is not that efficient. Like, okay, so I think I understand your mindset when you bought them. You're like, okay, the Draven's 3-1. I kind of need armor against him. That's not exactly the case, because you could have gone Merc Treads here and then just ult the Draven every fight because he is the main threat. That way you're doubly efficient. You cancel out the Draven and you have the Merc Treads just in case.
You don't choose in between Ninja Tabby and Mercs for the stats, you choose for the passives.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more, if you want magic resist, it's more efficient to buy 2 null magic mantles than it is to buy Merc Treads.
Like, even if you want to go damagey and get the magic resist, Hex Drink is a perfect choice, which could have been the case this game. But the problem was Vhagar was so not there, and Amumu was also just not doing anything, that Hex Shrinker wasn't exactly the greatest option. Had the game been even, Hex Shrinker would be a great option here. And then Merc Treads, and then you could go Randuins after that even. It all depends on the game though, so you have to build situationally. Other than that, your build is fine right now. I personally don't build Trinity Force on Vi, but it's kind of a preference thing. I just don't build it because it's 4,000 gold into 1 damage item, when you can stack Armor Pen now with the enchantment, and you can get another Brutalizer on top of it and build it into a Black Cleaver or a Ghost Blade. But again, that's preference and however you want to play her. Let's see here. You have a couple stutters around here. I'm not sure why. Either you're distracted or DC or something. Here's the point where you give the blue buff to Cat. Like, this is what I'm talking about. She doesn't exactly need this cooldown reduction stats, and you have a blue, but you could have refreshed it. It's not too big a deal in this case, though. In a bit, we'll get to some of the rotational problems that I see. Again, you have to have balls of steel. Like, you have to realize that Katarina's behind you, and your team is walking over here. Had you gone immediately, they would have already been dead, and you guys would have already been pushing the wave, and maybe you could have gotten Draven as well. It's just efficient for efficiency's sake. Just try and keep that in mind. Efficiency. Let's see. So Blitzcrank is randomly bottom. I don't think you guys have vision of him right now. Okay, so here's a problem right here. We're gonna go ahead and pause that. Right. So you have a wave coming in, right? But the problem is it wasn't all the way there. You have 2 teammates next to you, and they have 2 people on the tower. As a melee, you cannot walk up to the tower like that. You have to kind of gauge their damage. Like, it's just a bad idea in general as a melee to walk up to your tower. Like, think about it like this. If you're in a 5v5 standoff in mid lane and you're pushing up to their tier 2 tower, right? If you're melee and you walk up there, you're going to die. Like, if they have any form of CC or any kind of like way to impair you while they clear the wave, you'll just get destroyed by the tower. You'll get CC'd under it. You'll get jumped by like 3 of the people while the rest of them wave clear. It's just a bad idea in general as a melee to do that. Unless you have the tower secured, and the tower was like half HP as you walked up to it. So there's no way you can kill the tower yourself, or even if like Mundo and Katarina helped you do it, because there's 2 people attacking you as you're trying to do it.
It's
Like
like,
I
it's like the tutorial says, stand behind your minions.
exactly. The tutorial is right here. I mean, your team does clean up because they're so fed, but had you not died, you would have been able to get the turret. You could maybe go for a camp, steal the camp. You can go get vision. You can go help Kog'Maw push. You can probably get tier 2 middle. Like, there's just so much stuff you could be doing. Also, this Pantheon, I don't know what that was. I mean, he still gets them, but that ult was god awful. Let's see. So, right now, you need to be looking at objectives. So, what you need to be doing is calling out to your team and trying to tell them what needs to be done, because you need to be the one who kind of directs them. You need to be the Moses that leads them through the parted waters. So top lane turret's down. That's not top lane tier 2 is down. That's not a threat on the map anymore. You have 2 choices. You can go mid lane or you can go bot lane for those towers, and either would be good. But the way you have to play it out, you kind of have to ping for vision. Like, the Morgana is not really doing anything right now. She's pretty useless. She rushed her talisman without a sightstone, which is really impairing your team. Maybe mention to her that we kind of need wards. Let's make some picks, whatever. I mean, it's the game still goes your way, but for the sake of future games and being able to continue winning like this, you need to streamline the game to where it's even easier. Like, there's no reason that there should be 12 kills for the enemy.
Hang on.
Those are all mistakes.
Are you talking to me or?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. I had to switch over to my brother's computer. Wait,
When did you go?
That's fine. The VOD is there. I'm streaming this, so you'll be able to look over it. No problem.
Okay, can you give me the thing again?
The Twitch link? It's
Yeah.
just /Cheeto Pirate.
We'll go ahead and pause and wait for
What is it? Cheeto Pirate?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't make fun of my shitty name.
Twitch.tv/Cheeto Pirate.
Inside jokes.
I don't know the inside joke.
I know, you don't even know it. It's that inside me.
This is just something Jackie knows.
Yeah.
Only her.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
She steals Cheetos from her?
Exactly. Let me know when you're loaded in and if you have an ad or not.
Okay. Okay, I have an ad.
Okay.
Then I watched. Did you see mine yet? Did you see mine yet? It's a really big improvement. Like huge.
Okay, I'm on it right now.
Okay, so I'll let you watch the points I made earlier. We'll just continue on to where I left off. Let's see. Where are we at here? Oh, here's a big point right here. So you need to be the one directing your team, basically. Let's see. Yeah, focusing the tower is a good idea. Katarina backs off. I don't know why. This tower is gonna die. Okay, so right now, this is a big point, right? So on the map, you have to be aware of the lane's positionings and your resources that you have available to you. So you still have ult. That's good. Your team is pretty healthy, and they're just kind of sitting in mid lane. The top lane is pretty even right now. It's not really going either way. It'll eventually push to them. And you just killed 3 people at their mid tier 2, right?
Yeah.
Your team makes the mistake of sitting around mid. You go to do blue buff, which is okay. That's a decent choice for solo queue because securing the blue buff for yourself lets you carry a little bit harder. But always make sure to check your lanes and see how they're playing out and direct your team to where you want them to go.
Okay.
So the correct choice right now is to put
Maybe.
5 pings bottom right now, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the tower, because if you look, there's a gigantic wave right there, and there's another wave coming, and then they only have 2 people on their team. They have a Pantheon and they have a Mumu right now. That's a 2v4 on the tower. If any of them tries to defend, you still have ultimate. You dive them easily. They're dead, and you get another tier 2, right?
Okay.
Easy tier 2. What ends up happening though is because you don't have the input there, your team kind of just stands around, does nothing, and then backs. Like that's, I don't know. It's really bad. Like more could have been done there.
Okay.
As long as you take the initiative to have them do it. Like again, I said it earlier, but you didn't hear it. You have to be the Moses that leads them through the water and kind of like direct them and tell them everything. Just assume that your team is not very good. Even if you're playing with like LCS players, just direct them. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Like even now, you still have the chance to go take the turret, maybe. But you back. Now they're just kind of stranded there. They don't know what they're doing. They're all just kind of wave clearing, doing their own thing. Katarina goes, does her own thing. Kog'Maw's top lane for some reason.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So just you got to remember like ping, 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 ping. You don't have I get the same thing. Like I get anxious sometimes when I ping. Like I don't want to ping that tower. I don't want them to know it was me or some shit. Like you just have to remember that you have a big part in the game to
Okay.
where you can direct game flow very easily with simple presses of the ping button. Like it's huge the amount of direction you can take with it. And 3 pings is to suggest, 5 pings is to command.
Okay.
So if you ping something like 3 times, maybe they'll get the idea. Maybe you want their opinion on like, hey, can we do dragon or something? Maybe someone will say, they'll back ping or they'll say no, which is fine. Then you don't do it. But if you know 100% that a call is very good, you ping it 5 times and spam ping your team to go there with you, because otherwise, what if they don't? What if you lose the opportunity? That could lose you the game very easily if you keep letting that happen.
Okay.
Here is just kind of silly. I don't know why Draven's there. I think you expected Kog'Maw to kill Draven there. You should have just killed Secured. That could have got Kog'Maw killed, possibly. I mean, it didn't, but again, we're talking efficiency here, and in the future, a game could go very wrong had that happened. Let's go ahead and pause at the end screen, see if there's anything else we can say about it. Okay, so we'll talk like the game had kept going on because I don't want to end it here, and I want to give you some more analysis. Besides that, so your next options, right? Take a look at the mini map and take a look at who's up right now, and tell me what you would do had the game continued.
Probably push mid. Push out minions. Push mid. Since Vigar, Blitzcrank, and Draven are down.
Okay, so that's an okay choice. You've got 16 seconds on 2 of them, and you got 31 seconds on Vagar. And I'm pretty sure you have a wave mid lane, which would work out great, and you'd be able to get at least the turret. Maybe the inhibitor. Okay, well, you get the inhibitor. Let's say you get the inhibitor. Now what do you do?
See how many people are up and look at our
5v5
team's health.
right now. You guys are kind of low for taking the inhibitor.
Uh, maybe just kind of back and regroup when everybody's full, and or maybe have one of us just kind of fall back and hold.
Okay. Think about the lanes right now, like how they're positioned. What do you want to do to them?
Maybe start, maybe
Like
bot a little
recognize.
bit.
Yeah. Okay, so you have to recognize what objectives are next, and dragon spawning soon, I think. But screw dragon. We don't care about dragon right now. We want to end the game. We don't need dragons if we can end the game. Like Nexus is more important than that. So bot lane is shoving towards you. At this point, you should send Kog'Maw to go clear the wave. That way, it can start pushing. You guys clear. You guys killed the inhibitor, and then you guys back. The wave is already pushing bottom, and I'm pretty sure your mid lane would still be pretty even, and top lane is starting to snowball and shoving. You would be able to have your team go bottom. You group with the Kog'Maw, and then you siege the tier 2. You have super minions at this point in the mid lane shoving down, right?
Yeah.
Wait for the super minions to start pressuring. They send someone back, you get the tower for free. You can continue sieging with the Kog'Maw. You can try and land more Bound bindings, whatever. That's a sensitive situation when you're up to their inhibitor towers because games can go either way at that point. You can't rely on your team not to be grabbed by Blitzcrank. He's always a threat because if he grabs someone like Katarina and she's not able to eat out, it's really, really bad. Especially because she didn't build Zhonya's in the first place. She built full damage instead, which is not very good. That's her fault though. That's not exactly yours. You could always suggest her a build path, but that could always result in an AFK, especially at lower EOs. So that's kind of iffy. You guys have Baron at this point, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we do right now.
Okay. Yeah. So with the empowered minions, you'd be able to get like maybe a second inhibitor, and then you rotate to the third one, and then end game. Generally, it would be kind of easy, but they have the Blitzcrank. You always have to remember that. So if you want to be really safe about it, you can ward up their jungle and wait for them to misplay, and then try and make a catch while you guys scale. Because again, like there's no need to rush a game unless you like are base racing. You know what I mean? You have to have the patience to understand when you need to make a play, when you need to do certain things, and that comes with experience. But I'm just kind of giving you a general handbook as to what you need to be doing.
Okay.
Always ask yourself what objectives need to be next. What needs to be next? What do I do next? What do I do next? What do I do after the thing I do next? You know, you keep a couple steps in front of them because the game strategically is kind of chess-like. You can play it like that, and that's the way it needs to be played. And again, early game is definitely different than late game, but it's always the same kind of idea. Like, what do I need to be doing next? What do I do after the next thing I do? That'll help you a lot in streamlining your gameplay.
Then, like,
Um,
mine
that's
matches with
my
my
spiel about the game in general. If we're talking champions, right?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at Vi right now. Your build is totally fine. I agree with it, 100%. Trinity Force is preference.
blue and red. Okay.
You were way ahead, so that's definitely okay. If you were trying to be safer about it, I would have done Trinity Force into Banshee's Veil, maybe, just to keep the stuns off of you. And again, Merc Jets, right? Because you need to gauge what they have on their team.
Okay.
And understand what the champions actually do. Like Pantheon, yes, he's AD, but you don't build for the resistance. Like stats are negligible in Merc Jets, or sorry, the Ninja Tabi. So their CC is not negligible at all. You need to have some kind of tenacity or banshees, and tenacity would have been great here.
Okay.
Again, though, back to the champion. So, especially in the new jungle, maxing Q is fine. That's definitely good. And by, I would say to max W second though. The E is really negligible in the levels. So the E gives you like a 10 damage upgrade every time you level it, and cooldown reduction on it. But the E is not your main burst. The W is what gives you the burst because it does max percentage HP. And especially since you're building double armor pen here, when you do the max percentage HP, it hits really, really hard. And it goes off of your Q, it goes off of your auto attack, and you can reset it with your E. And you're not going to get more than 2 E's off in a fight in reality. Like, there's no way. Maybe you'll get 3, but the fight will end by then. So yeah, try and max W second, especially since all of the HP in the camps have been increased. W is even more efficient.
Okay.
That's always a good idea. What is the rest of your champion pool? Play
For jungle or just
in general.
In
Just
general.
tell me, like, what are you best champs in each role? What do you play in general?
Invisible bodies to my right.
for top? I don't know. I have a huge champ pool at top, and I used to top lane a lot.
Well, how about we go through your champs in order of how much you've played them then? In ranked.
Okay.
Okay, your most played champion in ranked is Lucian. So let's start with that. You play a lot of Lucian. That seems to be really the only AD carry you play, and that's fine, because Lucian's amazing.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I can only play Lucian.
On what?
Okay, so Lucian is for AD carry. Let's say support. Do you play support at all?
Never been in private match before.
What?
Do you
ever
play
play
support?
support?
I don't like to because I learn or I watch you know that on YouTube.
What's his name?
Tech TEKK. It's he basically makes videos of like double lift and all of that and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's in or it's Tech Glow.
Okay.
If you've ever played with him.
What are your most comfortable roles then? Like
AD carry.
I don't know. I feel really comfortable at top or about everywhere except for. Yeah, I feel pretty good everywhere.
Except support.
I don't know. I've learned a lot of support.
Okay, that's fine. It's good to be able to play every role in ranked and just have 1 or 2 champions that you can play at every role.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
Lucian's great for AD carry. If Lucian's banned, Jinx is great. You've played a couple Jinx games. That's fine to fall back on.
Yeah.
For top lane, your most played champion in terms of solo lanes seems to be Jace.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention now. So when we're talking about champions, you have to remember that some champions work better and scale off of skill, Like, no offense to you. Like, I'm not saying like, holy shit, you're bad or something. Don't play the champion.
I know.
I want to suggest to you, like, in general, if you're playing a skill champion, it kind of hinders the champion's potential. And if you're playing something that was easier, you could have a better result just because you're playing the champion. Granted, certain lane matchups and whatever, that's your preference, whatever you want to do there. But Jace is definitely one of those skilled champions. Like, think about him as like Zed.
Yeah.
Like, if you see a bronze Zed, what do you immediately think? Like, oh man, this guy's not going to play well, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to be that guy. Like, when people see you on Jace, it's kind of like the same thing. And sure, you have some games that might be good, but you definitely want to abuse easier champions. That way, your general game knowledge should be able to shine better than theirs. Just because
Okay.
the tool that you're using, you can use the resources to the fullest. Like, when you're playing Zed and you miss a Q,
Yeah.
that's huge. That is really, really
Yeah.
big. Like, if you're playing something easier, say like you're playing I
Yee.
don't know, like,
Malphite.
yeah, like Yi or Swain, like Swain middle. Like, you walk up to somebody and then you press the E and the Q, and then they get slowed, and then you press the W, and then you press your R button, and like 75% of their HP is gone. Compared to Zed, where you WE and then maybe it hits them, and you have to land your skill shot. Like, it's just some champions are better
There's
left
so
unplayed.
much more you have to focus on.
Yeah.
In those hard champions like Jace and Zed.
Where it becomes a hindrance to your own play, when you're playing those kind of things.
Do you take Jace top lane or mid?
I like to take him top.
Okay, so what are
because
what else do you play top? What are some other top lane picks you're comfortable with?
I like playing Gnar. I've learned how to use him pretty well. I love Gragas.
Okay. Gragas is a good pick. Gnar is kind of iffy. I would suggest staying away from him for the most part, especially since he was nerfed recently. I haven't seen a lot of play, so he's not even, that big of a champion right now. If he's a total comfort pick to you, by no means. You can keep playing him, whatever. But I suggest like some easier stuff.
Malphite's really strong.
Maokai is pretty easy. What else we got here?
Pantheon,
okay.
Irelia,
Pantheon,
Ryze.
Irelia is easy just because you have two games in.
Yeah, I know Ryze.
He can be pretty good.
Yeah.
Just stuff that you're jungle, thinking easy.
Right, if we're talking jungle now, Vi is a decent pick for you. Just because the ultimate is point and clicky.
Yeah.
In terms of the Q, as long as you keep in your head, like, some players play differently and they won't react to your Q. As long as you land those Qs, she's 100% efficient.
Yeah.
Like, you're playing her very well. And in general, like, the gameplay that I've seen so far in this game was really good. It's just a couple kinks that you need to work out, and it's totally fine.
Okay.
Let's see.
Jarvan's another really good jungler too, so is Warwick.
Jarvan's very easy. Warwick's easy.
If you need to fall back on support, you should probably avoid Thresh.
Yeah. If you really need to support, Janna's okay. She's very rewarding just because she's in general a good champion. Let's see, Sona, she's kind of face rolly. Your positioning still needs to be there, but it's a lot easier than if you're gonna try and pick up Nami. And again, Nami is a no-go. You don't really want to play her. Let's see. Did you say you played mid?
He doesn't really have many games on champions that would be considered mid laners.
Okay. Well, if you really need to mid lane, Lulu is really easy.
Yeah, I know.
She's always a good pick just because you can ult someone.
Oriana's a really solid
Orianna
pick.
is the queen of mid lane. She's always going to be good unless they nerf her to the ground.
Which they've done many times, but she always bounces back.
So yeah, Oriana's a decent pick. You can farm really easily with her. She's pretty safe because you have the shield and you can easily trade if you're gonna go for that, or just if they're poking you, you have defense mechanism against the poke. But yeah, that's general champion pool. Again, stay away from very high skill champions, and I guarantee you, if you play easier champions and just keep in mind the game knowledge that you need to keep in mind, like rotational plays and whatnot. What objective am I going to take next? What position do I need to have next in terms of jungle? You're definitely going to be able to improve your win rate to the point where you can climb very easily because you're not bad. Like I've watched your game right now, and compared to the players who you were playing against, you're 100% like better than them, and you can definitely improve.
Your rank for sure can definitely go up if you play more games.
And again, when you're thinking about rank, you definitely don't want to actually think about your rank because you're not playing for the rank. You're playing to get better. Like that's the whole point of it. Even if your goal is the rank, you want to play better first to achieve the rank. So you feel like you deserve the rank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The rank comes as an afterthought, basically. You can't get it unless you actually become better and strive to improve. And once you do, like break the barrier that you're stuck in right now,
Yeah.
you'll be able to fly through the ranks really, really easily because there's not that much of a difference from bronze to like plat. Honestly, like
Let's see if I can do it first try.
Quetzka even, like he was stuck kind of low, and he's starting to improve, and boom, he's like gold 5 now.
And I'm on top of that.
So yeah, that's about
Okay.
it. Do you have any other thoughts, Quetzka?
Yeah.
You can go ahead and talk, Maxiium.
Oh yeah. I kind of run 30, like not in team fights, so my computer's kind of bad.
Oh,
If that.
yeah, that's always a problem. Do you have low settings on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is your resolution lowered?
Yeah. It's the second lowest, but like the lowest it like messes up my. I don't know. It just looks really, really bad.
Yeah, I understand. If you don't care about sound, you can disable sound too to
I don't know.
increase frames.
I like sound just because it helps.
Okay.
It helps me.
Yeah.
You can disable the music. I don't know if you listen to the in-game music or whatnot, but you're able to turn down the actual music, and that helps a bit. I used to do that because I played on a laptop that would give me literally 0 to 15 FPS. Like in team fights, it would read out 0, and I'd just be fucked. But yeah, sound is a pretty big aspect in the game.
What rank did you reach on that laptop, Mark?
Gold.
Jesus.
And then I swapped to a newer laptop that gave me like 15 to 30 FPS, and I hit diamond. Like sometimes computer, it hinders you, but it's not the end all be all like problem.
As hard as life hits, you gotta get up
Yeah.
and keep moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Oh my god.
Final thoughts, Beth?
I guess the gist of it is stay away from the hard champs, touch the easy champs. Like if you look at your win rates, it shows you have a 28% win rate with Jace and a 58% win rate with Vi. Like the contrast is obvious. The easy champs work, the hard champs don't.
Yeah, I don't even use Jace much anymore.
That's
Okay,
good.
then that's good. You already understand. Maybe you don't know the reasons why, but you're just like, shit, I don't want to play this champion because I'm not having a good time with it anymore. That's good. Being able to understand for yourself like what the optimal thing to do is definitely good. And sometimes you don't even need to know the reasons. Like watching other players do it first is a good thing. Taking like a musical instrument, for example, like you don't learn it all on your own. Like you listen to people and you learn from them first, and
Yeah.
then you take it, do your own thing. That's kind of the same thing with anything in life, like even League. Like watch the good players, see what they do, and then
Yeah.
after you see what they do, maybe you can tweak it a bit to your preference. But in general, like you want to kind of follow their pattern. Um, Definitely not champs wise though. Sometimes they're playing the Jaces, they're playing the Zeds. But yeah, sounds about good. Again, the VOD is there on my Twitch chat or Twitch chat.
It's gonna be on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna
Okay,
upload the VOD
yeah,
right away
Quest will link that to you then after
when
it's
it's
uploaded.
up there. I guess, do you have any questions? Is now the thing to do.
Oh, yeah. Are you gonna keep streaming? Cause I watch a lot of videos and stuff, and I learn a lot from them.
Yeah, I might. I
Okay.
gotta get in some solo queue for the day. I'm probably gonna go get something to eat or something really quickly. I don't know how late you stay up, but either
I
way,
can stay for however. It don't
okay.
even matter.
All right.
I
So
gotta
yeah,
work at 4, so.
I will message you if I get back on, and I'll let you know if I start streaming again. But yeah, uh, following would help with that. Shameless plug. Yeah, I really do need to start streaming more now that I'm higher LP as well. Even if I'm not streaming and I'm solo queuing, I'm usually on like PewDiePie's or voice streams. Anyway, any more questions?
I don't really care.
No,
Alrighty.
no more questions. Okay, then we're good. I'm gonna stop the recording now.